Let's roll. What is up, everybody? Happy Friday.
Hello.
Happy Flex Friday.
Wow. Today is the first Friday of June. Today's the first Friday of June. And if you are joining us, let us know in the comments who you are. Because we can't always see who's live. And today's a great day to have a great day. And we were like, okay, let's see what questions we got. None. So we're going to make up our own shit.
Yeah.
And it's going to be
And
exactly...
for anybody watching this, if you have questions, check out the link in the announcements. It gets posted by Coach Annie every Monday, so that as the week goes on, as you come up with questions, just go ahead and ask them. So today we're gonna be talking about getting outside of our comfort zone, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what I did to get inspiration, in case you're wondering, like, how do Erin and Sarit get inspired or motivated? For one, I get motivated by you guys and inspired by pretty much anything. I could literally look at something outside and I'll have some kind of thought as long as my mind is open to it. And so I said, you know how I'm going to get inspired about a topic right now, right on the spot in the moment? I'm going to go to our Facebook page and I'm going to see what problem or what issue or what struggle somebody's having. First thing I see, all right, I'm really outside of my comfort zone making a post. And then I thought, ding! I thought there's a lot of new people coming into our community right now, like literally thousands coming into our community right now. And, you know, many very uncomfortable. And, you know, a lot of people kind of like hide in the shadows and they lurk. We call them the lurkers. But I don't want to put a label on anybody. So they lurk and, you know, they just kind of like, you want to see what's going on. And you're like, you know, what are they up to? What's this group all about? Who are these people? And I thought, what a perfect way to go live on this Friday to talk about, for one, like, addressing all of the new people coming in, but then also being able to speak into the beauty of intentional discomfort. Mm-hmm. Because you can be uncomfortable and you can be intentionally uncomfortable.
This is good.
And they're very different results.
Comfort by default and comfort by design.
Okay, so listen. Comfort that happens to you and comfort that happens on purpose because of you. Sorry, discomfort. Mm-hmm. Both ways. So here's the difference. Many of us are uncomfortable somewhere in life. That life is uncomfortable. It's going to throw things at us. It's going to hit us. It's going to rain on us. We're going to lose loved ones. We're going to break bones. We're going to, experience rejection. We're going to, all these things, accidents, all these things are uncomfortable. There's always uncomfortable aspects of life. So number one is like the sooner we can realize that, the better off we'll be immediately, because we're like, oh yeah, okay. Our expectation is that there will be discomfort in life, okay? So I'm going to let Jesus talk through me, God speak through me, as Sarit would say, for a minute, because I don't know where this came from, but I'm literally just thinking out loud, okay? So if it's not perfect, bear with me, all right? Because these are legitimate thoughts. Okay, so there's always things that happen in life that are uncomfortable, and we need to accept that. Once we accept that, then we're like, okay, I have this expectation, not the expectation of being let down, Like, oh, I should just expect that people are going to let me down. And that's a very different attitude. You're inviting that into your life. Oh yeah, I never win things. Like, I'm always the victim, woe is me, is very much a different idea than what I'm talking about right now. It's just the expectation that unexpected things are going to happen and they're going to make us uncomfortable. Okay? That's part of life. Now, there's the other side of discomfort that happens on purpose because you choose it. And it's a hard thing to do because it's uncomfortable, obviously. And what that might look like is going to do a workout when you're tired or you don't feel like it or you've had a really long day or you had a bad day. What that is, choosing a salad over a pizza because you're all up in your feelings. What that is, doing an extra set at the gym. It's this intentional push of yourself to expect a little bit more out of yourself. Just a little bit more. Because what happens is, can I draw on this thing? I want to draw on this thing. What happens is, when we push ourselves, it's growth. Napoleon Hill says that in the midst of adversity, we meet
our other side.
Our other self. This is not like his exact, but in adversity, we meet our other self. And what happens is when you push yourself, if this thing will turn off, it doesn't, whatever. What happens is when we push ourselves to a limit, and a good example of this is like if anybody felt like throwing up in a workout, like you push yourself so hard, you legit, like you feel like puking and you're like, I gotta stop. Have you ever gotten to that point? Like tennis or running or anything, you ever pushed yourself so much?
I mean, not puking, but like I got myself to a very uncomfortable situation.
All right. Well, I have totally done like a leg day with the personal trainer that I had at the time. And I felt like throwing up. Like I actually thought I was going to throw up. I had to sit down. I hate vomit. For those of you that don't know, like I will do everything to avoid it. I don't care. I will pray the puke away. Okay. I'll take a freaking shower to regulate my temperature. I'll like do anything. Okay. So I sat down and I was like, no, I'm not doing any more sets right now. And what happened in that moment is because I pushed myself to that level, I'm now capable of going to that level without feeling that thing again. My new level is further. So now if I were to push myself to feel that again, I'm going to have to push even further. I'm going to be able to do more before I feel that feeling. It's the same thing. Literally, this is not going to work. Apparently we have weird code. I don't know what's going on.
I'm going to ask like that.
So when you push yourself, when you stretch yourself, you become capable of more before you feel like breaking again. Okay, so that's called growth. And when you put yourself in intentionally uncomfortable situations, whether that's making a post on our Facebook group or that, and you're scared or you're nervous because you're like, I don't know what somebody's going to say about me or think about me. The fear of criticism is like one of the things that really holds us back from doing anything that's worth it, is because we don't know what other people are going to think. We're not sure what other people are going to say about us. So we're like, I'll just not do it because I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to be, I don't want somebody to say something bad about me or mean to me or anything like that. And so it stops us from doing what we really feel like we want to do, that is going to move us forward. And that's so unfortunate. But when you recognize that the things that you do are because of you and who you are and where you want to go, and the things that other people do and say are because of who they are and where they're at and what their life experience has been, has nothing to do with you. You can have a little bit of peace that, putting yourself out on this ledge of vulnerability, if you will, is really not so scary once you do it. You realize it's scary until it's not. And everything is hard until it's not. But if it's the first time you're doing it, or if it's been a while, it's going to be scary. It's going to take courage. It's going to be uncomfortable, but it's going to be worth doing. So, I don't know, I guess this is just a word of encouragement, like to, anybody new rolling into our community, or anybody even who's been here for a while and we don't even know who you are because you haven't made a post or you haven't expressed, why you want to be here or what you want help with or what your goals are. I encourage you right now, if you're watching this either live or if you're watching the replay, make a post on our Facebook group right now. If you're watching on TikTok, yeah, we're on TikTok right now too. Go to the link in our bio and join our Facebook group community. That's who we're talking to over here right now. But this is you right now. What is that?
Yeah, they had an update, it looks.
And I need help with
That
this
looks kind of
update.
cool though, doesn't
Whoa,
it?
what is going on? Newness is uncomfortable. Oh, this is your current. This is your current self right here, okay? There is another version of you. And that version of you depends on what you do today. Okay? So, there's a version of you that's here, and there's a version of you that's here. Let's call this your higher self, and let's call this your lower self. I don't know where this is coming from right now. But there's two paths you can take in life, period. There's two paths you can take in life. This one happens by default. Let the world happen to you. Let things happen to you. Be the victim, blame everybody else, sit on the couch and eat potato chips. If you're doing any of these things right now and like I'm making you feel bad, it's not my intention. My intention is to move you. My intention is to get you to feel the emotion, to get you to move, to make the change, to find this. Okay? Now, this happens by blaming, not taking responsibility, lazy. This is, you know what I heard Ed Milet say this morning? He's like, you don't get what you're, okay, we set goals. We don't always reach our goals, but we always reach our expectations. No, sorry. We don't always reach our goals, but we always reach our standards. So this is your standard. Where is your standard for yourself, for your own life? Is your standard high or is your standard low? Or do you even have one? Because if you don't have one, it's here. So as you travel through life, you're either going to go this direction and you're going to find this version of you. It's going to happen just by not doing anything, not pursuing anything, making excuses, being lazy, blaming other people for your circumstances, not an unwillingness to get outside your comfort zone. That's how this happens. Being focused on being validated and simply like being loved by other people rather than finding love here inside yourself. That's what gets you here. And this is like, there's not a lot of self-respect that happens in this area either. And I say that like, I try to say that very empathetically because I've been in that situation. So it's not like a happy thing to hear.
Worth too, self-worth.
But it's just the truth. And I just want to say it so that if, you're in that, like if you're in this trajectory right here, then, I want you to just be aware. Keep listening to the things that we say. I've not let Sarit say like hardly a single word, but I promise I'll give her her turn and I will shut up. But this version, this is hard. Guess what? Is it easier to coast down a hill or climb a hill?
Oh.
Which is easier? But let me ask you this. When you get to the bottom of the hill and you can't see anybody and you're alone and you can't see anything and there's no view and it's dark, because down here at the bottom of the hill, if you imagine a valley, it's dark down there because it's shaded by everything on top of it. It's shaded, it's dark, it's lonely, it's cold because the shade is cold. So is it really easier to be here Is it really? Or would you rather, because here's the deal, it's all going to be hard. Check this out. It just depends on where you want the hard to live. Do you want the hard to be on the way up, or do you want the hard to be like, this is just what you get because you didn't want to take responsibility or ownership for where you're at? Well, that was fun, everybody. Man, okay, so like, I want everybody here to be here. Everybody. This is literally like why we do everything. And you know what? I saw something this morning, and I see things sometimes where it's like, you guys are a scam, or you guys just want to take our money, or you guys just this and that, and it's not real. And I'll tell you, like, if you're in the ENS Army, like, you know. Like, if you know, you know. And I don't need to defend myself, because I go to sleep at peace every night, knowing that when I share these things for free on a Friday morning, when I could be doing a lot of other shit, this makes me so happy to share. And we are enthusiastic and thrilled to be live with you for free. You pay nothing. We just want to help. I rest in peace every night. Okay? But those kind of things are hard. Why? Because we put ourselves out on a ledge of vulnerability. We have ads on the internet, and everybody can see them, and they can say you're a scam. That's vulnerability. That doesn't feel good when you know you're a good person. It doesn't feel good, but I must push it to the side. And guess what? If you want to go up, that's one of the things. Fear of criticism is one of the things you're going to have to push to the side, because it is going to happen. Here's the deal. Whether you're doing good or you're not, people will criticize you, period.
Yep.
Do you want to be criticized and at least know that you're going to find the higher version of yourself? Guess what? Guess who's the biggest criticizer when you're right here? You. And that's why you got there. So guess what? No matter what, you're going to be criticized, because you criticize yourself every day anyways. We all do. 100% of people everywhere in the existence of ever criticize themselves. But what energy do you take from that criticism and inject in yourself? And what energy do you take from that criticism and say, I need to leave this out here?
That's good.
Because criticism can be a powerful motivator, but it can also be a double-edged sword. It can also be a fierce weapon you use against yourself. I think that's all I have to say for right now. But I make no guarantees. This is what happens when you guys don't have any questions.
So now they're not going to have any questions. Are you guys finding value in this? If you're finding value, whether you're watching us on TikTok or Facebook, please go ahead and drop a thumbs up so that we can see you. By the way, good morning to you guys. It's great to, hang out with you guys here on a Friday morning. And, going back to being uncomfortable. So we've already established the fact that life is uncomfortable. It's just a matter of what discomfort are you going to choose? Now here's the thing. Like it or not, we choose what discomfort we are going to bring to ourselves. We also choose what level of discomfort we bring to ourselves. No matter what will be uncomfortable, it's just a matter of, okay, which side of discomfort are you going to face? And then also, to what intensity, okay? The reason why all of you guys came into this program or into this community, many of you guys have been through our programs or maybe are going through our programs currently, is because you've done a lot of things pertaining to, transforming your body, losing weight, call it whatever you want, and none of it worked. Why? Because you went into these things being the type of person who, number one, never really having been taught how to choose intentional discomfort. Okay, you always wanted the easy way out. That's why you went for those quick fixes. That's why you went for the fast, easy, quick, blah, blah, blah. Right? Because you're trying to get away from discomfort. But what you don't actually know is that you're getting yourself into the worse discomfort, the unintentional discomfort, the subtle discomfort, which is more painful in the long run. And you then, not having the skills and the tools, you intentionally insert yourself into an intense environment of discomfort. No wonder it all worked until when? You didn't develop the tools and skills, and then you went yourself into an intense environment. It's like somebody who has never run their entire life and are now choosing to not just run, but to compete and sprinting by next week. Tell me how that makes sense. It doesn't. You gotta learn to practice your stride. You gotta have some kind of aerobic capacity so you know how to control your heart rate so that you can go full force. It takes time, it takes work, and it takes intention. So it's no wonder why all of you guys are here. And the truth is that we've been through that too, because we don't know what we don't know. Simply so. And going back to what you were saying about putting ourselves in a vulnerable position, we do not care to put ourselves in a vulnerable position if we know that it will help us to help more people. Right?
It's worth it. It's worth
it. Because to us, it is worth it. Because we know that is what people need to hear, see, and learn and practice. Until then, we're all going to unintentionally be more uncomfortable. Let me tell you something. Up till about 10 years ago, every day I was uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable in my skin. I was uncomfortable in my thoughts. I was uncomfortable with what other people were thinking about me. Uncomfortable about how my clothes would fit. Uncomfortable about, anything and everything. Because I didn't actually know how to intentionally make myself uncomfortable. Now, also, something that I'm noticing is becoming really common, which I'm really sad about, is, the disordered eating culture that is, becoming more and more common because, people are no pain, no gain, thinking that, the longer I go without food, the better I become. The more I starve myself, the better I become. No pain, no gain. I'm like, no, that is misunderstanding what this is all about. This is what I would call reckless discomfort. It's raising the bar of discomfort, leading you to a disastrous place. It's going to lead you to this in the first place. And
who are you, your mom?
It's going to lead you here. It's going to lead you here. So you're thinking that you're going here, but you're actually going here, and that is a very difficult position to get out of, because now like you're in a mind fuck, because you know that you can go with a higher intensity, but you're following the wrong approach.
So I want to ask you a question.
Uh-huh.
When you were like had anorexic behavior,
mm-hmm.
what kind of fulfillment though did that give you when you knew you had control?
That is so good. That's such a good question.
I want you to answer it because I'm going somewhere with this.
Because
I don't want you to feel like all is lost. Like, okay, we're gonna go into. Okay, tell me though. There's fulfillment in it. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it. What kind of fulfillment?
There is fulfillment. There's fulfillment from the pain. The pain brought me pleasure because the pain made me feel like I'm going somewhere. The pain made me feel like I'm in charge.
Disciplined. It takes a lot of discipline to not eat food when you're hungry, because the body wants food. So it starts out that way, and then you feel good. You're like, yeah, I'm in control. I'm in control, and I am, your thought process is like, I'm gonna lose weight. You think that, like, because I'm
gonna
restricting, because I'm restricting myself of something.
Yeah.
I have the power, right? It's powerful. Yeah. Okay, so now this is a beautiful thing, though. This is beautiful. It's called discipline. And discipline feels good, but it doesn't. Because if you look up the actual definition of the word discipline, it's like to punish. Okay, so we think of discipline as admirable, right? Discipline. Oh my God, you have so much discipline. People say that to us all the time. I wish I had your discipline. Okay, discipline, the practice of training people to obey rules or a code of behavior using punishment to correct disobedience. If we're using punishment, hold on, there's more definitions. So it's like in context, right? Which definition do we use?
Actually, this is good.
It's good. So the verb is train to obey a rule or code of behavior using punishment to correct disobedience. Now, if you are the one that determines what is obedient and disobedient in your behavior, this not like when it involves food and fitness and health and wellness and all of that, what is obedient and what's disobedient? Nobody's made the rules on it, right? So you've self-determined, and there's this punishment kind of feeling. And this is the premise also, I would say, of self-sabotage. It's a punishment for something, for some reason. And it's different for each person depending on where you're at, what your goals are, and what you feel about yourself, or what you feel about the decisions that you've made for yourself. And so when you are restricting food to that degree, I don't know about you, but it's very possible that feels like I am punishing my body, because I am the one it's me versus my body, right?
Completely.
It's me versus my body. But listen to that, me versus my body. You live in your body. It's you and your body. You are a team. You have to be a team. You got to be a unit. Start thinking of you and your body as a unit. Your mind as a unit. Trifecta. You have to be on the same team, right? Body, mind, soul. Anybody played sports? You're on the same team. It's a team sport inside this whole thing. It's a team sport. And if you want to win, you have to work together collaboratively.
Completely.
So, where I was going with that, what did you feel when you restricted yourself, is control. You felt like I've set my mind to something and I'm doing it. I'm following through with it. That feels good. When you say you're going to do something and you do it, it feels good, right? But it can be taken to the extreme.
I also, can I add more?
Yeah.
I also felt accomplishment in two ways. I felt accomplished internally and externally. So now, let me tell you what I mean by that. Externally, because when you okay, so this is like a really, like, when I say difficult, like if you feel like you're sensitive to this, maybe this conversation is not for you. I'm gonna just keep it real. If you feel like you can, like, take this, which I think you guys can and you appreciate it, hang on. However, I just want to give a disclaimer that this is about to get harsh. When you intentionally start to restrict yourself, like, you see numbers drop on the scale, that shit feels good. So you feel accomplished, right? Because what are we taught? That, ooh, when the scale goes down, I'm an accomplished person, right? That's why.
Or I'm accomplishing something that I want.
Exactly. However, at some point, that superficial level of accomplishment, or the external accomplishment, that dissipates. Because when you intentionally restrict yourself of food over time, what's going to end up happening on a physiological level is that your metabolism is going to stall. So then everybody's actually going to be turned against you. Okay? But, like, at the beginning, it's like, ooh, like, this shit's good. I see the pounds going down and all of that. Great. Okay.
So you keep going further.
Yeah. So you're like, okay, how much further can I go? And I'm literally sharing with you, like, one of the chapters of my story. And the other one is like, okay, like, because you see, like, some kind of, like, external satisfaction, now you're like, okay, so internally, if I push harder, externally, I will see more. You can only get away with that behavior for so long before it comes back and bites you in the ass. So.
I literally just opened to this page that says, wherever you find a person who is succeeding in a big way, you will find a person who has exercised tremendous self-discipline. And I think that this is the thing that we're trying to accomplish in these things, but it gets taken to an extreme destructive path rather than a constructive path, right? Construction, constructive, construct, to build, to make better, more of, rather than, like, destruct, to ruin, to break, to demolish.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a powerful tool. You just have to be mindful of how it's being used. So one thing I want to share, and I think that this is how do we be better? How do we climb? How do we climb up? Like, what do we need to do to climb? Because what we've said is, that it's hard no matter what. It's uncomfortable no matter what. Okay?
Yeah.
So now that we know that, would be love to know if anybody disagrees with that. I just finished reading this book, in case you guys are wondering, like, what I'm reading off of. It's Positive Influence by Napoleon Hill. And there's one sentence right here. If you asked me to mention the most debilitating weakness of mankind as a whole. Mind you, Napoleon Hill spent 30 plus years of his life dedicated to a philosophy of basically why we behave and think and act the way that we do, and how to be successful, and what are the traits that each person, what are the traits somebody needs to have success in life. And by success, it is peace of mind, ultimately. And so each area of your life, if in harmony with the other areas of your life brings you peace of mind, you are successful. That can be financial, relationship, career, self, body, health, whatever. Okay? If you ask me to mention the most debilitating weakness of mankind as a whole, I would say without hesitation, procrastination. We all do it. What do you have? What bills do you have sitting on the coffee table right now where you're like, oh, I need to pay this. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. What dishes do you have in your sink? This is something I'm terrible at that I could get better at. This is something I am working to be better at. Is immediately doing the dishes when I've used a dish. Just put it away. Just get in the habit of doing things immediately. Assuming you have all the information that you need and it's a safe environment to do so, right? Mm-hmm. But getting used to just, like, why do you wait? Why do you wait to do stuff? I'll tell you, when we do our programs, oh my gosh, when we do our raw transformation program, and we're doing the TKC, I'll let you guys right now, like, y'all know we have another TKC coming up and there's another raw transformation coming up. Why? Because it's freaking fantastic and it is like our way to be able to help the most amount of people on the deepest level. Okay. So when we are doing, when there's a deadline every time, no matter what, whether it's a live event we're doing, whether it's a workshop we're doing virtually, whether it's a, our 8-week transformation program, whatever it is, like 80% of all people that sign up in the last 24 hours. Yep. Why? This is the reason though why we struggle with weight loss, with whatever. It's like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll start on Monday. I'll start after the holidays. I'll start in January. It's always postponed. But why? That's one of my favorite questions I ask myself often is why? Mm-hmm. Why did you think that? Why did you say that with that tone? Why did you feel that way when you read that or when somebody said that or when you saw that or like, why do you behave the way you behave? Why do you procrastinate? Why are you waiting? What would happen if you did the thing you're thinking about doing tomorrow now? What would happen? Why do we wait? Like, you feel so accomplished and good and positive and like motivated when you just take immediate action.
I know why people do it.
There's no pressure. Until there's pressure. There's no pressure until there's pressure. But what is your thought?
2 things.
Threat.
Number 1, discomfort, right? People procrastinate because it is more comfortable to be in the status quo in the moment.
It's hard to commit to something.
Yeah,
anything. Right.
Because a commitment is backed up by all of our resources, which are money, time, and energy. Like when you don't have anything to commit to with time, money, and energy, okay, like what, like
2 T's or one?
2 M's. Like when there is nothing to lose, it's not scary. And also, like speaking about the TKC and the Raw, like that's why, like, TKC has a lot more people, Raw has less people. The Raw has the more committed people because they're gonna back themselves up with time, money, and energy for the next 8 weeks. However, we want to provide an equal opportunity for everybody because it is our duty, obligation, and responsibility. What you choose to do beyond that is, like that's up to you. And no matter what, it doesn't make you a bad person. It's just, the more committed we are, the more resources we are investing. Moms, I know that there are a lot of moms in the room. If you're a mom, go ahead and drop a hell yes. And by the way, if you're on TikTok, go ahead and join our Transformation Kickstart Challenge. Simply click on the link in our bio, or just go to www.erinsarit.com so that you can be on this on this other live page that we're talking to right now, and join this 5-day challenge, because it is extremely valuable. We go over these 5 principles super deeply.
This is also why it's easier to procrastinate. When you commit to something, the accountability increases. Well, not always. When you commit to like a program or doing something that we do, the accountability increases. Look at all the moms in the house. Yeah. Hey, holla!
I want to say hi to you guys. Lots of people.
Okay, so but it's backed by action, which you said, and that's the scary part. You're like, yeah, I'd like to commit, but I don't want to do anything. So
you're not committed.
Right? So when you commit, it's followed by action. And when you're committing to something that other people are involved in and know that you are doing, you're now accountable, which means you need to show up, or else you look like that person that didn't follow through. And people know about it now. And then now you're not just the terminology I would use for myself, I'm not just a failure now to my own self in secret. I'm a failure to everybody who knew that I said I was going to do what I was going to do. And this is a beautiful thing, public accountability, because it's a motivator. Mm-hmm. You don't want to appear to be a failure. Why? Because we're not meant to be that way. Right? You are made to succeed. I'm telling you right now, you got to believe in yourself. You are made to succeed.
You guys know that. That's why you're here. So let me go back to what I was saying.
Yeah, you go. Do you want to say hi to your moms?
Yes. Moms in the house.
From Rebecca?
Rebecca Ponte, Trish Burke, Lisa Tarantino. Oh. Amy, Suzanne, Beth, Sarah, Melissa, Allie, Lori, Ashley, Kelly, Charlie.
Melissa, thank you for dropping the link. So I can count on you, baby.
Procrastination. We procrastinate for 2 reasons. Number 1, because, like staying in the status quo is more comfortable in the moment. However, current comfort actually means long-term discomfort. Mm. And the other one, I think, is because of fear of change. If you want things to change, you have to change. And I think what people fail to understand, and that's where society takes advantage of most people, is everybody who says they want to lose weight or, like get fitter, get more toned. Like when you say that, you're saying, I want change to happen to my body. Okay, well, here's the deal. If you want change to happen to your body, who do you think needs to induce the change? You need to induce the change in order for your body to change. And that's why when I hear people talking down about their body, it makes me sad. Because the truth is that our body is the most incredible machine. It is our minds that have been poisoned by negativity. It is our minds that have been poisoned by negative information that are leading to that self-destruction, and it manifests in how we look and how we feel and how our life looks like. That's the truth. If you want positive change to happen to your body, you have to be the one who's willing to change. And guess what? Change is uncomfortable. Now, we're not talking about, if you're in this group, know that when I share this with you, I don't say that your entire life has to be changed overnight. If you're used to, let's say, like ordering Uber Eats and eating McDonald's and brownies all day, like I'm not telling you that starting like the next hour, all you're gonna be doing is eating vegetables. No. This is why, by the way, when you want to climb a mountain and reach the peak, nobody climbs Mount Everest by themselves. Why? Because left to our own devices,
you die.
When we're left to our own devices and we are in a new environment that, includes the elements and, there's also risk involved. Here's the deal, you guys. Life is full of risk. And if you want to get better, you have to take a chance on you. You have to.
Take a chance on you. Hold on. Slow it down. Take a chance on you. Take a chance on you.
Yeah, you have to take a chance on you. However, why are people who are climbing Mount Everest are going in groups? Because when like the elements bring some kind of adversity, be it like a windstorm or like maybe there was a crack of ice, guess what?
One word.
Support and also awareness of the guides is what will help you to overcome it. When you do something for the first time, do not expect to excel at it.
Or know what the fuck you're doing.
Do not. When you tried to, when you were a baby and you tried to walk, you had to crawl for quite a bit of time before you had to learn how to stand.
You had to use the coffee table and your little toy lawn mower with the little balls inside of it that goes tuk, 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 and annoys the shit out of your mom. You guys remember those? I had one of those. And the balls would bounce around. You got to use those to sit, and then you do that thing. Whoa! That's how you guys are coming into our community, trying to lose weight. You're like, let me try to stand. Whoa, this is weird. This is hard. They're asking me to not count calories. I don't know what to do with myself. Whoa, I got to work on myself.
But here's the deal. I think a lot of people who come to our community, if you've tried to do a lot of things before, are not coming in that state. They're coming in the state of, bitch, I know how to run. Don't try to teach me how to walk. And that can be the thing that distracts you.
Very true.
Because we want you to run as fast as possible, as far as possible. And if your form is shit, guess what? You're going to be injured. And that's why, like, all these people who act that way, right? Like, we call that a fixed mindset. It's like, okay, maybe you're going to do good for a little bit, but if you're not willing to change, if you're not open-minded, you're going to fall. You're going to fall. That's the truth. So, like, think about this as if you're climbing Mount Everest. Nobody climbs Mount Everest by themselves.
I just thought about something, too.
And also, the higher you want to go, the more willing you have to become to, I want to use this word. I'm going to share this slightly because I think it might be uncomfortable for some people to hear, but the more you're going to have to be willing to sacrifice, the more you have to be willing to put on the line. When we get to like a steep incline at, 50,000 feet, our 50-pound bag is not going to serve us at that moment, right? So like most people try to operate from a viewpoint of 50,000 feet. However, you haven't climbed the first 1,000. And the higher we go, the more willing we have to change. And that's why a lot of people who, let's say, they get themselves to a certain point, at some point stall. Like, you want to go further, you have to be willing to, give up more. Now, giving up more, please know that I don't mean that means starving yourself. I don't mean that you have to be in the gym all day. No, it is about intentionality. It isn't, society is so cultured, like this society of busy, 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 busy. There's a very big difference between being busy and being productive. And, the same goes for this too. Like, you do not need to live in the gym all day unless this is what you do to get paid. Like if you are an athlete, let's say if you're in NBA or whatever, guess what? You're gonna need to do your strength and conditioning, you're gonna need to do your agility practice, and you're gonna need to do your basketball practice. You might have to do it 2 times. However, if you live a, you know, like pretty sedentary life, right? Like modern life, you know, if you work in an office, if you drive your car, consider yourself to be living a pretty sedentary life. You know, doing some kind of intentional movement to some degree that, you know, will add some kind of added stimulus to your body will help you to get better. But everybody wants to eat the whale with one bite, and that's the biggest problem. Because when we feel uncomfortable, we want to get rid of it immediately. No, it doesn't work that way. One bite at a time, one day at a time, and you have to continue to put yourself in an environment that will help you to grow and that will help you to be better and to adapt better the thinner the air gets as you climb a steeper hike.
The people who are held back the most in life and never get the things that they truly want, which at the end of the day is simply a happy life. That's all we all want. We do all of these things because why? We want to be happy. End of the day, period. It's like, I want to be happy. And the reason, like, the people who, and I say this because if you are one of these people, but you want like to find genuine true happiness, I want you to, you have to keep an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
You have to keep an open mind. You can't think that you know everything. You never will. You don't. I don't. I question myself all the time. I question like single words that I use even sometimes. Was that the right word? Like, always be a student. And it doesn't matter, like, the people who even their names are well known are always learning. The reason you know their names is because they've done something extraordinary. And the reason they've done extraordinary things is because they constantly keep learning new things. Constantly. When we think that we have all the answers, the moment we think that nobody can help us because we already know what we need to do and we already know everything, we die.
Mm-hmm.
You die. It's miserable. It's a miserable life because you're not open to learning how maybe you could do things better that would make you happier.
Yeah.
So.
Let's talk about one more thing.
Always one more thing with Erin and Sarit.
You know, the concept of showing up versus being perfect. When we say show up, we don't mean be perfect with everything that we do. What we mean is do what you had intended to do today and do your best with regards to that and hold yourself accountable. Most people are okay with showing up until they're imperfect and they just cannot grasp, you know, like wanting to hold themselves accountable. Because they're like, oh my gosh, if I'm not perfect, then none of us are perfect. Stop trying to be perfect. Yes, we get it. Society wanted you to be perfect. You got rewarded only when you got straight A's. And if you were a C student, then, you know, you were a dirt child. I get it. You know, like if you... If you
perfect is an opinion.
Like if you did gymnastics and you didn't have a perfect body when you were 6 and you had like a little, you know, bulge in your stomach, then, you know, like your coach told you that you were too fat and that you have to be put on a strict diet. We get it. Perfect. But most people end up not getting themselves up on the bar and hanging because they don't look great in the uniform. Most people never end up taking that test that they need to take because they knew that they were a C student. how the fuck are you going to get better?
You don't get better at what you don't do. You don't get better at the things you refuse to do.
That's right.
And perfection is an opinion when it comes to people. And I want to know from the people who've been in this community a while, which is most of you guys like watching live right now. It's awesome. Faithful. Did you ever like wonder how do they come up with more shit to say all the time? Like, I know you've heard some of the same stuff, or you've heard us say some of the same things a different way, which kind of makes it feel a little bit different because people might like understand that language better. But have you ever thought to yourself, like, how do they keep thinking of more things to say? How did I've listened to like 100, Melissa, I know you listen to like 100 espresso videos. Like, how do we keep finding more shit to talk about in different ways and more concepts and more philosophies and more things where you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, like, whoa, I never heard them say that before. How do they keep coming up with this shit? Look, right there. You said you're learning every day. That's because we are. That's because we are. And when it comes to weight loss, fitness, health, body composition, wellness, mental health or maturity, we're just a couple steps ahead. We've just been through what you're going through.
We did that hike already. So we're like, follow us. We'll show you how to reach the mountaintop.
And we'll always have new things to talk about because we're always constantly learning. So I want the same for you because that's truly how we grow and how we develop. Now, the next step to that learning is application. Because what does it mean to know everything if you don't do anything with it? So I think that's it for today. We're really grateful. We're happy to be here with you guys. It makes us really fulfilled and just grateful.
Okay, one last thing and then we're going to cut it.
Sure.
So Lisa Tarantino, for one, I want to give you a huge shout out. For two, I want to comment on what she said because this is really important that you guys see that we're literally going through the same thing as you, except at a different magnitude. So Lisa said, oh, you guys are dropping comments like it's hot. You guys always talk about your mentors. You guys, we teach how we study. And I would say what allows Erin and I to fail up on a consistent basis
because we fail all the time
is because we're very open-minded, we're very coachable, we're extremely accountable, and we have a high level of self-awareness. Mm-hmm. You know, like, do you guys ever, like, I'm curious, I'd love to know from you guys because I'm speaking from my own, experience right now being a mentee. Do you guys ever feel that, like, after a conversation like that, or, like, if you've done a raw or if you're in the inner circle, like, like after, the sessions, you're like, man, I'm so behind.
I'm so overwhelmed.
Man, I'm so overwhelmed. Man, they just said a lot of things. Man, what do I do? Guess what? We feel the exact same way. We feel the exact same way. However, as long as you're open-minded to solutions. Now, here's the deal. I say be open-minded to solutions from those who have accomplished more than you do. Be ignorant to advice from those who have not. Erin and I choose who we take advice from very, very carefully. Because if you're not ahead of us, you're making decisions from a different experience, and that doesn't make a person good or bad. It's just, where do we want to go, and what decision do we need to make in order to move one step ahead.
Anybody, basically, like anybody we take advice from, usually for one, we're paying them for it. Like, free advice is like great sometimes. I suppose, I mean, this is free advice,
as an introductory thing, or like a
but here's the deal. Like, when you're seeking it out, it's different than when it is forced on you. You should do this. You know how many people tell us how we should run our business and they don't even have a business? I'm like, okay. So here's the deal. Like, when you want somebody's advice, look at their life and say, is there an aspect of their life that I'm looking to achieve for myself? And have they done that through difficult times and easy times? Have they been consistent at that? Have they maintained this aspect? Does what they have align with somewhere or a direction I'd like to go for my life in this area or that area or that area? And have they been consistent in that? You know, that's there, because there's a lot of great people who are very, very successful, very wealthy. They've made a massive impact, and they have a lot of free advice on YouTube and on wherever else. You know, you just have to look at, who is this person or people? Does where they're at in their life align with where I want to go for my life? And what can I learn from the mistakes they've made? Because I guarantee you they're there. What's dangerous is when people don't talk about any of the mistakes that they've made. Why hide it? Happens. And most of really, like, all of the people we take advice from have said mistakes that they've made. I've done this. Oh my God, this was terrible. That was a terrible decision. But this is what I learned from it. So it's just a few things.
Yeah, so, you know, if you ever feel overwhelmed, or, oh, I'm not doing enough, or it's okay to feel this way, and it's okay to be hard on yourself. I truly believe that can be like a propeller to helping you to get better. You know, what matters is that you follow through, and if and when something breaks, because if you show up, things are going to break, just so you know. Like, if you know, like, use your sneakers a lot, guess what? Soles are going to break, like, you know, the shape of the shoe is going to break. You're going to have to get a new one eventually. That's just the reality. Whether we like it or not, change is happening on a daily basis. Either, you know, like, intentionally or unintentionally. It's the unintentional change that we have to be aware, that we have to beware of the most, because that is the kind of change that is most likely going to lead you in the wrong direction. So we hope that you found value from today's episode. Just a reminder, you guys, that Fridays are Q&A days. If you have any questions, Danny, I want to give a huge shout out to Coach Danny. She drops the form on Monday so that you have the entire week. You know, like, as you fail your way throughout the week, just say, like, oh, you know, like, I'm curious, like, what would Erin and Sarit have to say about this? Or, like, you know, like, what would they do if they were in my situation, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's all about coming together and, you know, just having the intention of being better, not being perfect, because we're not. But the beauty is that you are imperfectly perfect. And if you're an OG and you've been through our programs, you know the power of these programs, we would be insanely grateful if, you know, as you're having conversations with people, you know, this weekend, and, you know, if they're sharing with you fears and frustrations and whatnot, like, share with them the link for the TKC. Like, we know that the TKC has been the first step of so many people who are, like, many of you guys are on this live right now, whose lives have been transformed in, like, incredible ways. So, you know, really, we're here to just add value. We're grateful for you for showing up, for being harder on yourself when you need to, because God damn it, if you're not going to be hard on yourself, nobody can be hard on you. And, you know, pressure builds diamonds.
Pressure is a privilege.
That's right. So, be great, you guys. Have a beautiful weekend.
Bye.
Bye.